I spent $2,500 of my own money, spent hours grilling, and planned every detail for our big family barbecue, only to hear my relatives laugh behind my back, calling me the cheap one because I didn't hire a caterer. That was the moment I realized no matter what I gave, it would never be enough, so I gave them nothing ever again. I invested $2,500 and personally prepared their whole outdoor feast. Later, my father raised a glass solely to Simon's accomplishments. When I proposed boxing up extra food, Simon scoffed. "Cheap, just like your workshop." My father chimed in. "Only your sort of individuals consider things that way, son." A chilling tranquility descended. I packed my barbecue equipment, informed my father that complimentary assistance concluded that evening, and departed. "We appreciate you being with us today. It's wonderful to have you present. Before we begin, please share your location. Post a comment with your hometown." Now, let's continue the narrative from our last stopping point. The spanner taps against the engine block. A sharp, gratifying chime that resonates through the stillness of Daniel's automotive repair shop. My hands, soiled with lubricant, grasp the cool metal of a stubborn piston, gently persuading it loose with a turn. The atmosphere hums with the essence of oil and steel, a scent that's keen yet reassuring, like the earth after a heavy downpour. This workshop, with its flickering fluorescent lamps and disorganized tool racks, is my domain. Here, I'm not merely competent, I'm exceptionally skilled. The engine purrs under my touch, a force subdued by patience and expertise. Pride swells within my chest, warm and substantial like the weight of a deserved payment. I lean back, wiping perspiration from my forehead, and observe my reflection in a polished hubcap. Calloused hands, worn flannel, a smear of grease on my cheek. This is me, unashamed. However, my thoughts then wander, uninvited, to the family cookout at my mother and father's this coming weekend. A heaviness settles, like a cloud obscuring the sun. My fingers tighten around the spanner. I visualize it clearly, last year's cookout, me carrying in platters of ribs I'd smoked for hours, only for my mother to rave about Simon's store-bought cheesecake. "So refined," she'd remarked, her gaze barely flickering to my dishes. Or the occasion my father had me beneath Aunt Brenda's Buick, checking her brakes without charge, while he boasted about Simon's secure office employment. Simon, with his iron shirts and client luncheons, who contacted me 2 weeks ago just to inspect his car's noisy belt. I repaired it, naturally. He didn't even express gratitude. I wish to believe this time will be different. Perhaps my father will notice the new garden illuminations I purchased for their backyard. Perhaps my mother won't compare me to Simon. But the hope feels delicate, like a spark in a gust of wind. And here, I'm sovereign. Out there with them, I'm just the individual with dirty hands striving too hard for an acknowledgement that never materializes. The next evening, I'm in the workshop, the air dense with the familiar sharpness of motor oil, when I decide to phone my mother about the cookout. The phone's coolness against my ear, and the shop's fan hum blends with the faint crackle of the connection. I'm enthusiastic, envisioning my ribs, slow-cooked, smoky, the kind that makes people close their eyes with the initial bite. I spent hours perfecting the seasoning last weekend. And I have new solar garden lights, sleek and contemporary, to brighten their backyard. My voice is steady, eager. "Hello, Mom. I'm bringing my ribs for the cookout. And I picked up some lovely garden lights for the patio. They should look splendid at night." There's a pause. Then my mother's voice, light but preoccupied, as if she's leafing through a periodical. "Oh, bring whatever you prefer, dear. By the way, Simon's bringing that exquisite cake from La Patty. You know, the one with the gold leaf. Everyone's going to adore it." Her words land like a pebble in my stomach, small but pointed. I grip the phone tighter, my thumb tracing the grease-stained edge. Simon's cake, naturally. I force a smile she cannot perceive. "Sounds wonderful, Mom. See you Saturday." I conclude the call, gazing at the engine block before me, its contours gleaming under the shop's harsh illumination. My ribs, my lights, there. Whatever. But Simon's cake is literally gold. I attempt to dismiss it, telling myself it's just my mother being herself, always pursuing what appears impressive to the neighbors. But the sting persists, like a splinter beneath my skin. Later, my phone vibrates while I'm tightening a bolt. It's my father. His voice clipped, as if issuing a directive. Daniel, when you're here early Saturday, check the tire pressure on your aunt's and uncle's cars, will you? Safety first. Oh, and the lawnmower's making a racket. Take a look. No. Please. No. Thanks. Just expectations. My jaw tightens, and the spanner feels heavier in my hand. Certainly, Dad. I respond, my voice flat. I place the phone down, the clatter loud in the quiet workshop. Unpaid handyman, that's me. The type of person who repairs things for free while my father boasts about Simon's legitimate profession. I want to decline, to tell him to contact a mechanic who charges by the hour. But it's family, isn't it? That's what I do. I assist. I gaze at my hands, the grease work deep into the creases, and feel the weight of their disregard settle more heavily, like rust creeping over steel. Friday evening, I'm lounging on my sofa, the faint aroma of takeout pizza lingering in the air. My phone vibrates with a message from Sarah about our rendezvous tomorrow. A rare night off. A chance to feel human instead of a grease-stained mechanism. The television hums softly, casting flickering shadows across my small living area. Then my phone rings, shattering the tranquility. Simon's name illuminates the screen, and my stomach twists like a spanner slipping off a bolt. Danny, you have to assist me! His voice is full of panic, high-pitched, as if he's auditioning for a play. My car is producing this peculiar sound, and I have a crucial client meeting out of town tomorrow. I sit up, the sofa creaking beneath me, my jaw tightening. Sarah's message remains unanswered. I want to say I'm occupied, that my life matters too. But the word family is a hook in my chest. All right, bring it to the workshop. I murmur, already regretting it. The workshop is dark when I activate the lights. The air's sharp with oil and metal. Simon's vehicle, a sleek sedan he enjoys displaying, sits like a pampered prince. I slide underneath, the concrete cool against my back, and locate the problem, a loose heat shield, rattling like a tin can. 10 minutes with a spanner, and it's resolved. My date cancelled. My evening gone for this. Saturday morning, Simon strides in, his cologne piercing the workshop's honest odor. Thanks, man. He tosses over his shoulder, keys jangling as he accelerates away. No inquiries about my time. No offer to cover the new bolts I utilized. My hands clench, grease smudging my knuckles. I'm not a brother, I'm a complimentary service station. The door creaks, and Uncle George enters. His carpenter's hands as rough as mine. He observes Simon's taillights, shaking his head. Your brother. Running you ragged again, kid? When are you going to learn to refuse? His voice is gruff but warm, like sandpaper smoothed by care. I force a laugh, but his words sink in, sharp and clear like a spark in dry grass. I lean against the workbench, the metal cold under my palms. Duty has always been my restraint, but now I feel it chafing. Simon's thoughtlessness, Mom's dismissals, Dad's directives, they're accumulating, heavy as engine blocks. Uncle George's question echoes. When am I going to learn? I don't know yet. But the notion of saying no feels like a key turning in a rusty lock. Sunday evening, I sit at my mother and father's polished dining table. The air dense with the aroma of roasted fowl and Eleanor's lavender scent. The chandelier casts a warm radiance, but it feels like a spotlight pinning me down. My fork scrapes against the plate, a faint screech absorbed by Simon's voice, booming with tales of his transformative endeavors. My mother leans forward, her eyes sparkling as if she's observing a hero. My father nods, his tie immaculate, inquiring about Simon's promotion prospects with a pride that cuts me like a dull blade. Aunt Brenda, her pearls gleaming, turns to me, her smile syrupy but sharp. Daniel, dear, still getting your hands dirty? Her voice drips with pity, as if I'm a stray she's too polite to shoo away. My son just received a raise at the accounting firm. I force a nod, my throat tight. the taste of mashed potatoes transforming into ash. My hands, concealed beneath the table, clench, the phantom of grease still in their creases. I clear my throat, reaching for something substantial. I just finished restoring a '67 Mustang for a client. I state, my voice steady despite the weight in my chest. He wept when he saw it. Said it was like regaining his youth. For a moment, I see the car's cherry-red curves gleaming under my shop's lights, and pride flickers, warm and fleeting. My father interrupts, waving a hand. Yes, you're proficient at that sort of thing, but you need to aspire to greater things, son. My mother chimes in, her voice soft but firm. That's right, something cleaner, more stable. Their words land like a hammer on glass, shattering my moment. Simon smirks, sipping his wine, untouchable. I stare at my plate, the food blurring as the room shrinks, the chatter fading to a dull hum. I'm not present, not truly. Just a phantom they glance past. The pain is profound now, not merely a sting but a bruise spreading slowly and heavily. Will they ever truly perceive me, or am I just the individual who repairs their vehicles, not worthy of the esteem they grant Simon? Later, in my truck, the engine's rumble offers familiar comfort. My phone vibrates. Finn's message illuminates. Another family lecture night? Remember, buddy, your worth isn't determined by them. I exhale, the words like a breeze through a stifling room. Finn comprehends. Him, Uncle George, they see me. My family's voices echo, but Finn's cuts through, sharp and true. I grip the steering wheel, the leather cool under my palms, and ponder if I've been pursuing an illusion, exhausting myself for an acknowledgement that will never arrive. The late afternoon sun bathes my mother and father's backyard in a golden radiance, reflecting off the solar lights I installed last night. The air is thick with the smoky aroma of my ribs sizzling on the grill I transported, their caramelized edges eliciting murmurs of approval from cousins and aunts. Laughter and conversation rise like a forced chorus, but I'm too occupied to participate, flipping patties, refilling ice, wiping perspiration from my forehead with a grease-stained sleeve. My hands, still raw from repairing Simon's car, move with practiced ease, maintaining order amidst the commotion. Across the lawn, I observe Simon gesturing at his sedan, its polished hood gleaming as he boasts to Uncle Mike about its smooth performance. My jaw tightens. He doesn't mention the rattle I fixed. My father steps onto the patio, glass raised, his voice booming over the assembly. To family customs, he proclaims, his tie crisp despite the warmth. To pride in our lineage. My mother beams beside him, her pearls catching the light. And to Simon, his promising profession, that exquisite vehicle, a genuine emblem of achievement. The crowd clinks glasses, their smiles broad, unaware. Not a syllable about the ribs they're consuming, the grill I'm tending, the lights casting their glow. Not a glance in my direction. The chatter fades to a dull roar, and the faces surrounding me blur into a facade of pretense. Years of indignities, Mom's comparisons, Dad's directives, Simon's smirks, crash over me like a wave, drowning the hope I'd clung to. As the gathering concludes, plates accumulate, half-eaten ribs and patties abandoned. Practicality takes over. I cannot tolerate waste. There's a lot of food remaining. I state, loud enough for my mother to hear. Let me retrieve some containers for people to take home. My mother wrinkles her nose, her voice a gentle jab. Oh, Daniel, no one desires leftovers. It doesn't appear very presentable, dear. Simon, lounging with a beverage, smirks. Yeah, brother. Rather cheap, don't you think? More suitable for places like your workshop. My father's eyes narrow, his tone stern, final. Son, only your kind of individuals consider things like that. The words strike like a spark on dry tinder. My forced smile vanishes. My face a blank canvas. No warmth, no tears, just a cold, clear tranquility, like the moment before a tempest erupts. I look at them, Mom's anxious frown, Simon's smug grin, Dad's impatient glare, and perceive them for what they are, not family, not anymore. Strangers who take and take without a word. I turn to the grill, its metal still warm under my hands, and begin dismantling it. The clank of the grates echoes in the sudden quiet. I pack the cooler, the ice sloshing as I snap it shut. The solar lights come down next, their wires coiling like serpents in my grasp. Trash bags I'd prepared I tie off and stack. The crowd observes, their chatter subsiding. The air thick with awkward tension. My movements are steady, deliberate. Each item a piece of myself I'm reclaiming. My father strides over, his voice low, sharp. What do you imagine you're doing, Daniel? Don't disgrace the family. I halt, turning to face him, my eyes locking onto his. My voice is clear, steady, heavy with a finality that feels like stone. I'm retrieving what is mine. And Dad, Mom, Simon, perhaps you're correct. My kind of people and I do not belong here. From this point forward, my workshop operates during business hours, with a clear price list for everyone. The other assistance ceases too. I believe you'll all manage perfectly well. No one speaks. Their faces, shocked, indignant, bewildered, are a distant blur. I load the last of my belongings into my truck, the tailgate slamming with a hollow thud. The engine roars to life, a growl that drowns out the silence behind me. I drive away, the road stretching dark and empty ahead. In the rearview mirror, their figures shrink, fading under the yellow glow of the lights I removed. My phone vibrates, Mom, probably, or Simon, but I silence it, the quiet settling over me like frost. I do not look back. There is nothing left to observe. Days after the cookout, I'm in the workshop, the air sharp with the familiar scent of motor oil, explaining a carburetor issue to a client. The engine block gleams under the shop's lights, and my hands move with assurance, tracing the problem's origin. My phone vibrates in my pocket, insistent like a fly I cannot swat. I glance at the screen. Mom! My stomach twists, a faint echo of the old urge to abandon everything. I let it go to voicemail, focusing on the client's nod as I outline the repair plan. Later, I check the message. My mother's voice is brisk, expectant. Daniel, the dishwasher's malfunctioning again. Can you stop by and examine it? The words strike like a worn-out tire, heavy but predictable. I envision her in the kitchen, arms crossed, assuming I'll rush over. My thumb hovers over the reply button, a flicker of guilt sparking, her anxious frown, the dishes accumulating. Then I recall the cookout, her wrinkled nose. Nobody wants leftovers. The spark dies. I text back, my fingers steady. Occupied with a customer, Mom. Try searching for a repair service online. I slide the phone into my pocket, its weight somehow lighter. I'm not their repairman anymore. For the first time, my time feels like my own, a tool I can wield for myself. The following week, I'm beneath a pickup truck, the concrete cool against my back, when my phone rings. Simon's name flashes, and my jaw tightens. The memory of his smirk at the cookout still raw. I slide out, wiping grease on my denim, and answer. His voice is casual, edged with that old sense of entitlement. Hey, Danny, my car's acting up again. Something with the brakes, I think. Can you inspect it? I lean against the workbench, the metal cold under my palm, and take a breath. No panic, no haste, just clarity. Bring it in. I state, my voice even. Standard brake inspection is $250, parts extra. Silence stretches, thick as engine sludge. What? Simon sputters. You're charging me now? I picture his furrowed brow, the disbelief. That's the rate. I reply, calm but firm, like a bolt secured in place. He argues, his voice rising, but I remain steadfast. Shop's open until 6. Let me know. I end the call, my pulse steady, the air in the workshop tasting cleaner. Simon appears later, his sedan rolling in, his face a mixture of annoyance and resignation. He pays up front, muttering about family assisting family. But I disregard it, concentrating on the brake pad's wear. The invoice is crisp, professional, and I hand it over without a word. He drives off, and I know he's feeling the strain, perhaps even taking public transport until his next payment. That same day, my mother calls, her voice soft, inquisitive. Daniel, Simon's daughter's tuition is due soon. Could you contribute a little? I'm in the office, signing a new maintenance agreement with a local delivery company. The pen smooth in my hand. Things are constrained, investing in the workshop right now, Mom. I state, polite but final. I hear her sigh, the sound faint but heavy, like a door closing. With the contract's advance, I order a new diagnostic instrument. Its sleek design promises sharper work. The workshop hums with potential. My bank account steadier than ever. I visit Uncle George at his studio. The scent of sawdust sharp and grounding. Just secured a significant contract. I inform him, my voice lighter. He grins, patting my shoulder. That's the approach. Prioritize yourself, son. His words settle like a warm weight, affirming the boundary I've established. I'm constructing something tangible, something my own. But the quiet of my apartment later, the refrigerator's hum filling the silence, reminds me of the family I've left behind. Freedom tastes sweet, but it's tinged with a bitterness I cannot quite dispel. The workshop is alive with the clatter of implements, and the sharp scent of brake fluid as I hunch over a classic Corvette. Its fuel pump a conundrum of corroded fasteners and stubborn leaks. My hands, slick with lubricant, move with a rhythm born of years. Each twist of the spanner a minor triumph. The afternoon light filters through the shop's windows, casting long shadows across the concrete. My phone vibrates on the workbench, insistent, cutting through the hum of my concentration. I wipe my hands on a cloth, the fabric rough against my skin, and see my father's name on the screen. My chest tightens like a cable pulled taut. Daniel! His voice is sharp, panicked, barking through the speaker. My car ceased functioning on Route 17, middle of nowhere. Get here now! I envision him stranded, storm clouds gathering, his polished footwear scuffing the gravel shoulder. The former me would have grabbed my tools, leaped into the truck, no questions asked. But the memory of the cookout, Dad's stern, "Your kind of people," flashes like a warning light. I glance at the Corvette, its owner waiting, trusting my expertise. My voice remains calm, firm. Dad, you need to contact roadside assistance. I'm with a customer, and the workshop doesn't provide mobile rescue. He explodes, his yell crackling through the phone. Don't you dare pull this now, Daniel! I swallow. The image of him alone, rain beginning. Stay safe, Dad. I state, then end the call. The silence in the workshop is deafening. My heart pounds, heavy as a sledgehammer. I see him, drenched, his pride unraveling as he awaits a tow truck, missing his important meeting with that old business associate he always mentions. Guilt claws at me, sharp and cold like a blade against my ribs. I grip the workbench, the metal cool under my palms,